Welcome to the cockpit. My name's Ryan and I'll be your pilot tonight. We got some Marcus Maye rumors to get into. We could talk some NFL draft, some off-season type activities. What's going on, everyone? Big Green, Dylan, Steven, Jordan, Table Croissants, Jennifer. Wow, one of probably 5 girls that follow the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Jordan, Steven, Liam. Who else we got on there? Tyler, Joseph, Matt, Joe. Matt and Joe, 2 of the newest members of the channel. Thank you, boys, so much. Try out some of those emojis. I just put up a bunch of emojis, and I haven't seen what they look like in the chat yet. So you guys can be the first ones to do that. So hit those up. Jesse, Chloe, Joe, David, what's up? Oh, eject button. There we go. That's the first one. I like it. All right. So we got a lot to talk about. We're going to do this the same way we do every week. We are going to monologue for the first half hour, and then I will get your phone calls. For those of you that are a part of the channel membership tier first class, you guys get a private call-in number. I just have to log into it because it is in a different account. So hold, please. But I'll have that open in case any of you guys would like to call. You have the phone number. Should be in the membership section. Apologies. Oh, happy Monday. Guy saying the Maye rumors are fake. I bet that look, I don't think this is any new news at all. I think the Jets were probably going to shop Maye at some point. I don't know. I don't buy that these are just fake. They may not have happened yet, but I think they are very much going to happen. And I like Marcus Maye. I have no problem with Marcus Maye. It's really just the thought process of, will the Jets pay Marcus Maye and Jamal Adams after drafting a safety in the 3rd round? And that's where I kind of think I don't think so. But who knows? Maybe they want to retain some of their players. They have $100 million in cap space, so maybe that's what we're going to see instead. Apologies, guys. I am almost logged into this. This will work. I apologize for being so quiet to start this. I'm trying to get into this. Whoa! That's so cool. The JETS looks awesome. It looks dope. The WTF looks pretty good. Try the flag. I haven't seen the flag yet. What's up? Getting green. Not a Colt. That's so cool. All right. I think I have the chat open. So the private number should be working. So, Marcus Maye potentially getting traded. What could we get for him? What is the deal? Do the Jets even want to trade him? Jets have $80 million. They could retain Marcus Maye, but they're going to have to give Jamal Adams a contract. They're going to have to give Sam Darnold a contract eventually. It depends what Marcus Maye would take. I feel like you would want to sign Marcus Maye first, so that way he doesn't know what Jamal Adams makes. I think that's what I would do. Joe S. says trade Maye for Yannick. I like Yannick. I like Maye. I like Maye a lot. I would root for Maye wherever Maye is. I'm wearing my Jamal Adams jersey because we're talking safeties tonight for the most part. Is Ashton Davis really the guy that's going to take over for Marcus Maye? I think so. All right, let's see if this whole phone number even works. I think I set it up right. I may not have. This is all new to me. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, boom. It works. See? This is what happens. I'm trying all these new things. Did you guys like the backdrop in the last video? The whole, what is it, the bachelorette stuff? Becca had her bachelorette party here. It was really cool. They did a really good job. Hey, David, what's up, dude? Oh, I'm glad you got it. Good stuff. Thank you very much. Joe Corsello, Joe S. It's so cool. I really like seeing the little jets there. The little jet's kind of neat. So, yeah, Marcus Maye. Let's talk about this. Let's see, what could we get for Marcus Maye if he were to be traded? I think he's probably going to get traded. It would be a waste to let him just walk out. I think if we let him walk to free agency, we're not going to get a compensation pick for him because I think we have too much money. So I would either, if you could sign him to a reasonable deal, sure, whatever. But I think you just spent your third-round pick on a guy that you would like to see take that on. Ty Perk, what's up, dude? Thank you for tuning in. I would think you could get a third for Marcus Maye. I think he's a good player in this league. He's still young. You got him for another probably 3-4 years. Safeties can last a while, especially free safeties. I would say a third is probably the high end for Maye. It wouldn't shock me if he would get would net a 4th-round pick just because of the injuries. You're going to have to pay him. How much? He's probably not going to ask for a lot. He would probably take a prove-it deal, even though this year is like his prove-it year. But maybe the team that trades for him wants him in their system this year on the cheap to decide if they want to sign him long-term and how much they want to pay him. So I could see that being a very enticing part of this thing. Joe asked, do the Jags need a safety? I think they were looking at Isaiah Simmons in the draft, and they didn't take him because he went one pick ahead of them at the Cardinals. But I feel like that was a way they could have gone. That was a way the fans wanted to go down there. And I could see them wanting Marcus Maye. Now, what would it take? I don't think you can't trade Marcus Maye for Yannick Ngakoue straight up. There's no way. He's 2 years older. I don't think he's as good as Yannick. I mean, maybe because you're going to have to pay Yannick so much that it's kind of like a wash. Like maybe the salary's the thing. I don't know. I would give up a 2nd-round pick for Yannick. So if Maye is worth a 3rd or a 4th-round pick, you probably have to throw in a 3rd or 4th-round pick to go along with that. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Great that we're having conversations about players that other teams might want, finally. Oh, yeah, this is a good thing. We actually have players, which is like sort of wacky, because McCagnon, he really did some weird stuff, and the free agent signings were really like god-awful for the most part. I mean, I like Mosley, I like Bell, but we've drastically overpaid for both of them. So I think getting Douglas in here just before the time where all our heavy-hitting free agents are coming up is probably a smart decision. DJ Sin 6, thank you for the super chat. A 4th verse 6 to 10 mil. Give him 2 years, 16 mil with incentives. I'd be cool with that. I think if you have that much money that we're going to have, why not keep him around for a little bit? Especially if Greg Williams wants to run that 3 safety set that we've kind of heard. I would do it. I think he's probably going to get around there. I would bet he gets like 7 million, maybe 6 to 7 million on a deal. I don't think he'll be a top paid safety. Maybe 10 at most, maybe like with incentives if he does like a 1-year contract or something like that. I would like to retain him. But if we get a draft pick, which I think you should get the draft pick because you took Ashton Davis. I think Ashton Davis's upside is a lot bigger than Maye's. I like Maye. What's up, NY Sports MC? How you doing? Good seeing you. What you saying? What's in there? Juju and Darnold you guys are talking about. So yeah, Juju and Darnold played together at USC for 2 years, and the Steelers apparently do not want to retain Juju. Juju's in the last year of his contract. I don't know what you could get for him in a trade if they were to tag him, but they're not going to tag him because he's not. I don't think he's worth whatever the wide receiver tag is now. It's got to be like $14 million, $15 million at this point. I would take Juju. I don't know what it would cost to sign him. I don't know what he kind of expects right now. Ooh, poll question. That's right, poll question of the night. Okay, so let's do... What should the poll question be? The Jets are looking... The Jets were rumored to potentially trade a player today. What position is that player? Head down to the Jets Discord in the links in the description down below. Answer that at the poll section and get yourself entered to win a hat, shirt, or mug from the Jets Talk store. I'm going to make that one real easy. What position does the player that was rumored to be in trade talks today, what position does he play? What are we looking at in here? So, do you think we sign someone after we get the Tremaine Johnson money back? It's $11 million. I hope so. I think. Let's see where we're at right now. What is our actual cap space? I think I heard we were at like 18 last. But I don't know if that's like still accurate now because I thought that was missing a bunch of contracts. Yeah, it says we're at 18. Without looking too hard into it, it looks like the contracts are there. That would be huge because then if we can get rid of... Hopefully we don't get rid of Winters or Avery Williamson. Like if you can have those guys as backup or like competition to help your offensive line, I'm all for it unless you need that money. But like if the Jets are getting that $11 million back for Tremaine Johnson, you're going to have $29 million. Now you can go out and get another player. You could get an edge rusher. You'll definitely have enough for Clowney if you want Clowney. If you want to make a move for Ndakwe, you really could. It's just I wouldn't want to give up a first-round pick. That's where I sort of draw the line. He does not want to be a Jaguar. But I do think he's worth a first-round pick. I think someone at the tail end of the first should probably give up a first-round pick for Ndakwe. If not, I would give up a second-round pick. I don't have a problem. Clowney misread the market. He definitely did. 2613 Mike. What's up, dude? Thank you for that. Wow. Jean, Jacques, Saucy. Welcome to Economy. Welcome to the channel. I'll have to do a shout out for all you guys. You'll get the shout out in the next video. I was gonna do the the boarding plane thing with the whole thing all the time, but then I figured that might get a little annoying. So the first time I did it, and then I'll just maybe I'll throw in sprinkle in some other stuff throughout the year. Might be a sign that we might not cut him after next year. Who are you talking about, Gangrene? Might not cut him after next year. I'm lost. I think Marcus... Okay, so if we're talking Marcus Maye here, I think he's definitely... I think that he's going to be a hot name at the trade deadline. I don't necessarily think we get rid of him. I think it could be smart. If they don't want to pay two safeties a pretty decent salary, I think you trade Maye. Like if the plan is to not retain him, your best decision is definitely to move him. Get something for him at that point. And then you can trade him like out of conference. You can trade him to the NFC if you really want to. Not that it really matters. Safety's not really going to bite you in the butt too much. So as long as it's not in the division, I think you're fine. JTB Vlog says, do you think that we could package Avery and Maye and get a second, then a pick down the road? If you could trade... No, look, if you could trade two players, I'd rather hold on to those guys than maybe getting one shot at a second-round pick. Like, I think Avery leaving after the year, if he plays well, could get us a third-round pick in the future. And Maye, I think, is already worth a third-round pick. So I'd be a little upset if we traded both of them for a second. I mean, you'd get a good player, I guess. So probably another start. During draft time, I would not be upset. It'd be like, oh, wow, we got another stab at this. But... yeah, I guess if you think you're going to let him walk, because Avery, I've already said with Maye, if you're not going to, you're going to sign a bunch of free agents next year probably. So you're going to have to, if you're going to sign a bunch of free agents next year, you're not going to get the compensation picks. You're going to need to either retain your own. That would be the move, I guess. I guess if you could retain Avery Williamson and you could retain Maye with all the money we have, then you don't have to worry about like compensation picks. Like if you then you could actually, I don't know. I feel like good teams draft well and then keep their players. Oh, JETS eject. I love it. All right, what time we got? 8:18. Not too bad. We got about 12 minutes before we go to the phones. Guys, if you're just tuning in, the question of the day in the link in the description, there's a link to the Jets Discord. Head down to the poll section of the Jets Discord and answer this question. The player that was rumored to be in trade discussions today for the New York Jets, what position does that player play? What position does that player? Where is he on the field? Words. Sorry. Language is hard. Shaq asks, how much cap do we have next season? So this year we have $18 million that we're rolling in with. We get another $11 million from Tremaine Johnson. So that puts us at $29 million. And then that probably puts us at like close to $80 million in 2021. And then if we roll over any cap, you get that as well. Plus, if you cut Le'Veon Bell is going to save you a bunch of money next year. What's that going to be? Yeah, Le'Veon Bell saves you another $9 million. So you're talking close to $100 million that you could have if you're the New York Jets. But you don't want to just cut players and have a bunch of cap space. And that's what Douglas sees. Like, Douglas didn't cut Avery Williamson. He didn't cut Brian Winters because he doesn't want to create a gap without needing to use that money. Like, if that money's going to a player, it's probably good that they're a veteran, like, on the team. You don't want to necessarily just cut them and create another hole. Like, you're already spending the money. If that money could go towards another player that you think makes the team better, then by all means cut him. But I think Joe Douglas knows he doesn't want to create a hole unless he has a solution for it. And I don't think he necessarily knows if he has a solution for it at offensive line. Like, I think he believes Winters is probably a decent backup, and he's a nasty guy. He's tough as all hell. He plays through injuries like crazy. He's just always injured. Edward Ziff says, Maye and a third for Yannick. I would do that in a heartbeat. I really like Marcus Maye. I really like Yannick. And I could totally throw a third-round pick for that. I'd be all about that. Patrick, Ryan, I think Maye and Adams have a good relationship. Possibly could lead Adams to not re-sign later on. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, look, I would love to have Marcus Maye, but if Jamal Adams is going to try and, force the Jets to sign players, I don't know if that's really a good move. I think that would probably rub people the wrong way. He's supposed to be, the leader. And I understand, players, the way they kind of handle their money, they don't talk about other players' money. You just stay out of that. That's the one thing you don't talk about. So I would say Jamal would be disappointed, and maybe that would lead to him not doing it. I don't think he'll necessarily bring it up to the Jets, but it would be something I'd like to know maybe prior to doing that. I would like to bring Marcus Maye back. We're going to have a ton of cap space next year, and I don't know. We're going to have 35 players under contract and a bunch of draft picks. I don't know. I think if you could find a way to keep Maye, I think you do it because it's worth it. It's such an interesting thing, and I don't really trust Manish Mehta anyway. I feel like he's just firing out stories. Like the way that article read said that at during the trade deadline he fielded calls for Maye. So I feel like we kind of knew that anyway because we knew he was going into the last year of his deal. And it's no one really, I think, expects Jamal and Maye to both get paid a ton of money. It's going to ultimately depend what Maye gets. Luckily, Maye is up first. So if we pay Maye, maybe he takes $8 million, like an $8 million extension on his 1-year deal. Or you do 2 years, add it on so he's here for 3 years. That'd be kind of cool. Then it sort of saves you a little bit of money. But you also want to, if you could front load some of the Jamal Adams contract or front load some of the Sam Darnold contract, it sets your franchise up real well after that. But you also have Sam on a rookie deal for the next 2 years, or a cheap rookie deal the next 2 years. At the fifth year of Sam's rookie deal, you're going to want to extend him before then. You don't want to let your quarterback go into the last year of his deal. Joe S. says Quinnen got pushed around a lot last year. That's worrisome. Yeah, I think he'll put on some weight. I think he'll play better. I don't remember who shared the statistic, but I remember seeing it on Twitter. The guy just had a bunch of players or a bunch of players that compared to him, like Carlos Dunlap. Who else was in? I probably have it on here, but he was compared to like 3 other players that all had like very similar stats for the year one. Yo, Jerome Strax, thank you for joining the channel. You the man. You the man. Would you move Maye for an offensive lineman? I don't know at this point. I would rather a draft pick or an edge rusher, or maybe a cornerback, depending on who the cornerback is. Edge rusher would be my... If I could get Ndakwe for Maye, I would do that. Like, I would even give up a draft pick. I really like Yannick, and I think he's an elite edge rusher. That would also free up your draft pick for next year in the first round, because I think we're going to go edge rusher or cornerback in the first next year. So if you get an edge now in Yannick, you sign him long term, then all of a sudden... Although, I guess the issue with signing Yannick is that you might have to pay Jamal Adams more than Yannick if Yannick's looking for like 20. I think Yannick's going to get it. I think he's 25 years old. The guy was a beast when he was like on the field. Now that's also a really good defense, like up front. You got Josh Allen coming off one side. You had Calais Campbell, Marcel Darius. Was it Marcel Darius? No, it was it was Darius, I think, right? I think he was on there. Dude, you need a man cave. I do need a man cave. I know. I got a cactus behind me. I would like to have a man cave. When we eventually move out of this apartment, we were planning on buying a home. We were going to buy a home after we got married, but now that we're not getting married until next year, that kind of delays us wanting to get a home. Although I guess we were going to wait till maybe spring of next year anyway. Maybe the market will crash a little bit with the housing market, and we'll be able to get something nice. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to. We'll see. 2613 Mike, do you see contract becoming an issue with Sam in the future? I don't think so. I think we'll see Sam play well this year. This will be his 3rd year. The Jets are going to say, hey, we want you to play on your 4th year because we're going to exercise your 5th year option. He's going to play through his 5th year, and the Jets are going to pay him a bucket load of money if he plays well. I think if they think he could be the, I think he's the answer. I really do. Give this man your money for the man cave ASAP. I'll get something. I have some cool ideas for a man cave too. I'm a big movie guy, aside from like just being a Jet fan. So I want to have some Jet stuff. I want to have some movie stuff. I just want to have fun with it. Gotta have a good backdrop. I'll chill out. And what I'll probably do, since I'm a big movie guy, I'd like to do something where I could have, I could show you guys my setup for like. I would love to have a projector. Like how I want to watch my Sunday games. So much. Danglers says a first for Juju. I'm all for that. No, I would not trade a first-round pick for Juju. I'm sorry. He's going to be a free agent. I think he would come to the Jets next year anyway, unless they trade him. But I would not do that. Who is that? Why is your name blue? Justin Levine. Welcome to the channel as a member officially. I think you're the first mod as a member, I believe. I could be wrong. I apologize if I'm wrong. No beer, no water, chocolate milk. It's really a thing of beauty. Houses in Jersey. Yeah, houses in Jersey are expensive. It's not fun. We got to try and figure out where we want to be ultimately. That's one of the nice things about this about doing Jet stuff. Like I love Justin Levine, JETS. I love it. That's one of the things about being a Jet fan and doing Jet YouTube videos. It's nice to be really close to the Jets. It sucks that everything's like so expensive here. Like although I do YouTube content, so like Jet Central does it down in Florida. There's no reason I can't do it. If I go elsewhere. I still have a lot of fun. I love going to the camps. I love going to minicamp. Love going to the games. Joe S. Yeah. Bruh, XRP. Are you drinking Ovaltine? I'm not drinking Ovaltine. I have just some Hershey's and some 2%. Should move to PA, much cheaper. Yes, Shaq. PA is definitely cheaper. Becca's job's the other way, though. Becca's job's kind of towards the city. I go the opposite way. So we're like sort of in the middle right now. So it's kind of a little tough. Big Green, what are you talking about? Game of Thrones? Is that what you're talking about? Is that what you're watching? What is my favorite movie? Ooh, what's my favorite movie? That's tough. I can't give you one particular movie. I could give you a like sort of by genre, some top ones. Like some of my favorites in comedy. I love Superbad. I love Tommy Boy. Pineapple Express was really funny. I mean, there's a bunch of really like just good humor kind of ones. Like I really like the Muppet movie where they're like, "Oh, we're gonna travel by map," and I was like, "That is just so wholesome." That is amazing. Have you heard of Mike Florio report saying no trade for Maye? They did field calls. Yeah, of course. That's what they. I did hear that. I do think that they fielded calls for Maye, and I do think that they're definitely interested in trading Maye. I think he's going into the last year of his deal. I think they're saying the right things. I would say that. JMC says Chris Farley's the greatest. I loved Tommy Boy. I really love Tommy Boy. I love Grandma's Boy. Grandma's Boy is really good. Joseph Purdy. Jets. I love it. You guys got to decide. We got to figure out what we want the next button to be. What the next emoji to be. I would like to do a butt fumble, but I don't know how to make a butt fumble look good. Like maybe I need to make two emojis, and I gotta get one that's a butt and one that's a football. Well, I guess football's already there. Fat guy in a little coat. Muppets Most Wanted is classic. I always loved the Muppets growing up. I didn't watch all of them, but Muppet Treasure Island and what is the Christmas one, Christmas Carol or whatever. Those were all really good. Oh, you guys are talking playoff predictions. I'll tell you my playoff predictions, and then we'll go to the phones. So I think the Jets are going to split all their division games. So I think those three, Bills, Patriots, Dolphins. I think we can beat Denver. I think we can beat the Chargers. I think we beat the Raiders already, so I think we could beat them again. That's 6. We're not beating Seattle. We're not beating the 49ers. The Rams, I think, is half and half. Gene, what's up? Thank you for the super chat or sticker. Keep it up. Yeah, maybe I'll work out every time I get one of those kind of things. Bad Dog does the spinny thing with the chair for one of them. But thank you. Thank you so much. Where was I talking with this? I completely lost my train of thought. Playoff predictions. I was at what, 6? So now we got to talk about is it the Browns? Browns would be one of the teams we have to verse. I could see us beating the Browns. I could see us beating... I don't see us beating the Colts. I think it's the Colts. Whoa, Tyler! Goal! Thank you, dude. Thank you. Oh, I don't know why my little thing. I used to have like a little thing that would pop up in like alert box people. See how that works. See if that goes. But thank you. Thank you so much for that. Dangler says, I see us beating the Colts. I don't know. It's so tough. I really like Phillip Rivers, and I think that team's really, really good. But I don't know. You could see just about anything. Just about anything happened. Oh, there you go, Tyler. You got yours up there. I'm glad. I'm sorry that I didn't get the other ones up there. Arizona. I could see us beating Arizona. So that puts us at like 8. I could see us getting to 8. Ryan Schwinger, welcome to the Frequent Flyer program. Whew. Frequent Flyer. Thank you so much. All right, let's go to the phone lines. I think I am logged in, so I should be good. Let's see, I might just have to refresh. Rivers is going to throw Pittman. Rivers is going to overthrow Pittman by 10 yards most of the time. I like Phillip Rivers. I don't know why you guys don't like him. Or it's not you guys, it's just one. Babel says he sees 10 wins. That's ambitious. But hey, I could... A healthy Sam Darnold, year 2? Let's do it. R.I.P. Shula. Yeah.
From Liam.
Liam, what's up, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's up, Brian? How you doing?
Hanging in there. What's on your mind?
So, would you even consider trading Marcus Maye, maybe like a late round pick for Odell?
I really don't see Odell and the Jets working out because he accused Greg Williams of trying to hurt him in a preseason game. So I think that's sort of a weird combination, but I wouldn't be against it. If you could trade Marcus Maye straight up for Odell or Marcus Maye and a late-round pick for Odell, I think Odell's worth at least a second-round pick normally. So I'd be okay with it, I think. He's on it. His contract's pretty decent. He's got, I think, 4 years left at like $12 million. So it's not a bad contract. If he wants to be back in New York and he can kind of keep his composure, that's the only thing I don't know about. Now he would be walking into a locker room. Yeah, he would walk into a locker room where he's going to be in there with C.J. Mosley. He's going to be in there with Jamal Adams. He's going to be in there with Le'Veon Bell. So it's like it is a star-studded cast. I think he was like the only big star for the Giants when he was there. I mean, like he had those years where they had the big free agents that came in, but that's kind of different than being like a homegrown leader, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Is there anyone else you'd like? Is there anyone else you'd like to see in a Maye trade, or is there a pick that you would want to get for Maye if we were to trade him?
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe trading with the Packers for Brian Bulaga.
See, Bulaga, didn't he was a free agent this past year, so I think I don't know if he re-signed with the Packers. Now I gotta look. Bulaga.
Like, we might want some guard help, maybe. Like, maybe like perhaps like an in-season trade.
So he's on the Chargers right now. He's the right tackle for the Chargers. He just signed a 3-year contract there, so they're going to hold on to him. Yeah, offensive line wise, I think I'm pretty set with like rolling with what we got. If we can get an edge rusher or a cornerback, those would be the two positions I'd really look for. I think Yannick Ngakoue, if you could trade for him, like if Maye is a trade chip and that could help facilitate that, that's a player I would really look at. You could look at Raven player Matthew Judon, the edge rusher over there. I don't know how good he is. Like I think Yannick's way better, but maybe you could do some sort of trade with him.
Yeah, then we would have our linebacking core of like pretty much all former Ravens.
Yeah, it would be loaded. We'd have Peanut, Mosley, and what's his face? The guy I was just talking about, Judon. Yeah. All right, dude. I'm gonna hop on to the next call.
All right, thanks. See you.
Thank you so much for calling in. Boom! You've been ejected from the cockpit. Gene Jocks Sauce upgraded to the first class membership. Thank you so much. You awesome. You are grand. I don't know. I'm gonna see if I could have both windows open. I don't know if I could have both windows open for the first class phone number chat at the same time. So that's why I was going to do the first half hour. That's what I was thinking. What's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's going on, Ryan?
Hanging in there. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to talk the whole trade thing and then season predictions.
All right, yeah. What's on your mind? What are you thinking? What do you want to get from Marcus Maye?
For Marcus Maye, I think it's not out of the realm of possibilities that we could get a second-round pick for him.
Mm-hmm.
Given because I feel like he's very underrated. And
I think so.
Somebody that could take a defense from kind of being middle of the pack to maybe into not elite, but like being much better.
Sure, and I think he's going to be. I think the value for Marcus Maye, I think you're going to get a really good player for a much cheaper deal. You could argue on the field play, Marcus Maye at the contract he's probably going to get versus Jamal Adams at the contract he's going to get. You could argue that Maye might be the better value in the end. Now, I think that creates a very valuable trade chip for Marcus Maye, and I think that's pretty cool. So maybe you can get a team to give up a second-round pick if they think they're going to be good. Like, say Seattle needed a safety or something, and they wanted to give up a second-round pick, and they think they're going to be late in the playoffs. Then that's probably probably something that we could see happen.
I'm not a huge Yannick fan, to be honest with you. I know that's kind of an unpopular opinion.
No, it's all right. Everyone's got their own opinion. But, is there an edge rusher you do like that's out there?
I would like, once again, Curry or Griffin, I feel like would be a better option just because I feel like they're not necessarily specialists, but what they do best is getting after the passer.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of where I fall, and I think they're going to be a lot cheaper than Clowney. They'd be a lot cheaper than Yannick. You're not going to have to give up any assets for them. So that's where I sort of fall in that, because I would like to draft an edge rusher if possible, because then you get him on a cheap contract.
Absolutely. But I'm not trying to discredit Yannick at all.
Sure.
I think he's a great player, but I don't think we need another run-oriented guy like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think more of what he does is against the run instead of the pass, and we'd be top 5 against the run without him.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Thank you, Colin Fowler. I apologize for the super chat. So let's ask this. I'll ask you the question that Colin just asked. Would you trade Maye and a pick for Juju from Pittsburgh because Juju and Sam played together at USC for 2 years?
Absolutely.
What would be the pick you'd be willing to give up?
I'm willing to go as high as a second.
Really? Okay. Juju's good. I like. Go on.
Yeah, I think he's the number 1 guy. And I like Joe Douglas a lot, but he hasn't proven anything yet. And the Jets tend to swing and miss on draft picks a lot.
Okay.
If you can plug in somebody who's a proven talent for a second-round pick, I feel like that would be a home run.
That would be huge. That's if you could trade Maye. God, Maye in a second feels like a lot, especially if the Steelers are looking to possibly move on from Juju after this year. I mean, maybe they just want the draft pick, and that's where it's kind of coming from.
I still think they have the best defense without him.
Without Maye, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine without Maye, but I'm just thinking about Juju. Like, do I want to give up a second-round pick and Maye for Juju, or do I just wait until after this year and get Juju in free agency if we can't retain Rashad Perriman? Like, if Perriman goes off, then we just have our answer with Perriman. I feel like that would be pretty cool. But I'd be all about Juju. I think I'm willing to see what he's about this year with Big Ben back in the lineup, because his stats were definitely affected by Ben not being there. Yeah, part of it is Antonio Brown not being there too.
Like, he was banged up a lot last year.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about that during the broadcast when they played us, and he had to go through a lot of it just for them to kind of make the playoff push they wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, if you watch the tape on him, that leg really affected him because he's usually a very crisp route runner, and then he was kind of rounding everything off because he got to slow down because he didn't want to re-aggravate the leg injury he had.
Yeah, that's huge. I also didn't get you didn't get to see a lot from Juju. I'm a little sour on him because he was on my fantasy team. He was my first round pick. It was like him and Odell. I had like the 11th or 12th pick in like all my drafts, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go receiver. Oh, I got screwed. I was like, damn it. I got Big Ben that got knocked out, and then Odell just did not do anything in Cleveland. I was shocked that he did that bad. But
he just didn't produce in the red zone for them.
Yeah.
They didn't really like going to him in the red zone.
Yeah, that's just it. But that's where the fantasy points are. Now, Juju, I think, do you think there's any dip in production because Antonio Brown's not there, or do you think it's primarily like Juju is the number 1, and as long as he has Big Ben, you'll see that kind of come out?
So I'm going to say this. I felt like Juju was elite when Antonio Brown was there.
Yeah.
Because he was taking away a lot of the stuff from him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's elite anymore. I just still think he's number 1, though. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I like Juju. It would be hard for me to give up Maye in a second, I think, but I think I would be willing to do some kind of trade. Maye in a third would make me feel more comfortable. It's kind of the same amount of capital that I'd want to give up for Yannick.
For me, with Maye in a second, that might sound kind of outlandish for you. But
Sure.
I'm more comfortable with Ashton Davis than most people are.
Oh, so am I. I definitely am. Like
He was on the trajectory
Mm-hmm.
to become the best safety in the class. The way he was climbing up most people's draft boards.
Yeah.
Before he got hurt.
Yeah, he looks good. He's like,
ability.
dude, he's a freak. Like, he is insanely fast. I don't know if you watched the video that I published earlier, but I was looking at his combine scores with Maye's combine scores, and Maye's combine score I think was a 5.84, and I think Ashton Davis was like a 6.27 or something along those lines. So, like, physical freak wise, he's definitely more athletic, and I think like skill wise, just from watching him a little bit on tape. Now I think Florida's a harder school maybe to play at, but I think he's I'm excited. I'm excited for Ashton Davis. I want to see all three of them on the field. I really don't want to trade Maye until like the trade deadline.
Yeah, I was just about to get to that. I really think the deadline would be most likely, or I would prefer the most for Marcus Maye.
Yeah.
What if Ashton Davis can play? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's just it. Like, you at least you're backed up in case there's an injury or in case there's, some growing pains with him. Like, a safety that gets traded mid-season is going to be able to kind of play wherever. Like, if he gets moved to another team, I don't think there's going to be anything overly tough for them to learn on the defensive side of the ball. I feel like on the offensive side of the ball, it might be a little bit tougher.
Yeah, can we go through the schedule?
Okay, real quick, and then then I got to get some more callers. What are you thinking schedule-wise? What do you predict for wins?
So, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs. I think we're going to beat the Broncos because Locke's just inexperienced, even though I think he will be the best quarterback out of that draft class.
Yep, okay.
We beat the Raiders, even though they look better, and Derek Carr's going to have to play in the cold again, which he sucks in.
Yep.
Chargers, I think we could beat because remember when we got Tyrod that Monday night game before Baker came in?
Oh yeah, we were all over him.
I think we can do that again because a lot of the guys are still there, and Greg Williams was a coordinator there when he played in Cleveland. The Chiefs, we're going to get absolutely murdered in Arrowhead. Everybody's going to get laughed at us.
Yeah, what's going to happen is they're going to release the schedule, and that's going to be like the first Monday night game or something, and the Jets are just going to get stomped into oblivion, and everyone's going to laugh at us. They'll be like, haha, look at the Jets, and they're all, down.
Nope.
Can't start us with a softball.
Yeah, they'll decide to mic up Darnold again. He'll say something stupid.
Oh, yeah, that's just it. Oh, that was another one of the emojis. One of the emojis I was going to put into the chat was a little ghost emoji. I'll get a ghost emoji with a little 14.
Then we're at NFC West.
Yes.
Seahawks, Cardinals, Niners, and Rams.
Yep.
We're not going to beat the Niners or the Rams. Niners or the Seahawks.
Yep, I agree.
I think without Todd Gurley, even though he was hurt a lot last year,
they
won most of their games because he was having the impact he had still. So I think we can beat them. And the Cardinals, their O-line still, Josh Jones, I don't think he's going to be able to play this year, and he was their really only tackle pick. I think their O-line just is really bad.
Yeah, I agree. I think they are very beatable. I think them and I would say the Cardinals are both beatable in that division. So the Jets are. You could easily see the Jets get to 8-8, and it's not going to be unreasonable to think if everything sort of clicks with the team, I could see the Jets sweeping Miami or sweeping the Patriots because we don't know what the Patriots are. They could be phenomenal. They've been good without Tom Brady and with Bill Belichick being there with backup quarterbacks, but you never know. You never know. That team could be completely different. They've lost a lot of pieces.
Yeah. All right, so I'm just going to get through. We have our division. I have us going 3-3. I don't know in exact which order.
Sure.
But I have us going 3-3 in the division. And then we play a Colts. I think it's week 2.
Well, I don't think we know what the schedule actually is yet. I think we know we play the Colts, and I think it's the Colts and the Browns are the two teams we play.
We play the Colts and the Browns. If we play I think Phillip Rivers might be done for his career, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Because he's a very strong. He was a very strong arm quarterback. He kind of lost a lot of that, and his reads have never been insane, but he's always been able to fit it in there.
Yeah.
I don't think with his old age he can do that anymore. And the Browns, I know we can win. I just don't think we're going to.
Yeah, that's a tough game because that offensive line is going to be significantly upgraded from what it was. I think the Jets would have won against the Browns this year. So could the Jets win against the Browns this year with a healthy Sam, with other healthy players, and then you also maybe have the ability to kind of put a little more heat on Darnold. I think our team's just way better than it was last year. I think them potentially they may not even have Odell. If they don't have Odell, is that offense better? Who knows?
Yeah, and I think even if they do keep Odell, that locker room's going to fall apart because they would need 2 footballs to get the ball to all the people who they want to.
Oh yeah.
All those personalities. They had that problem last year, and then they said, you know what would be a really good idea? Bring in another volume receiving tight end. That would help.
Oh yeah, the Jets. So as far as the weapons go for the Jets, and how we could spread them around, I'm hoping that I'm looking at it and I see both tight ends. I really like Herndon. I think Herndon's I have him predicted as my breakout player of the year. So Herndon, Griffin. You got Bell out of the backfield. I like Perriman. I like Mims. I like Crowder. I feel like we're well off. We just have a few question marks in terms of like, can Herndon stay healthy? Can Perriman stay healthy? What do you think overall record? What do you think our record is at the end of the year?
I'm going like the same predictions for last year. That
Yeah.
had anywhere from 7-9, 9-7.
Yeah. I think 8-8 or 9-7 could get you that 7 seed.
Yeah, I think even if we go 7-9 or we slightly decrease or we slightly regress in record, I still think we're going to end up being a better team just because of the schedule.
I completely agree. I think we're going to see a far more watchable team, a far more complete team than we did last year, even if we have a worse schedule. Like, even if we wound up being 6-10, I think we're going to see better football. Like, I could see us playing the Chiefs close. I could see us playing the Seahawks close. And I could see us losing, the games, but I think it could be a better game than some of the, like, I don't think we're going to get blown out like we did in Cincinnati, or I hope not, at least. I think this team is going to be way better than that.
Yeah, and one more thing about Perriman before we go.
Sure.
I think he's going to be a stud because he's so physically talented. You've spoken on this many times.
Sure.
His problem has always been route running. And he kind of rounds off routes. And the same problem Robbie had earlier, and he kind of cleaned it up at the end of last year. I thought when he had the great 6-game stretch, I thought his routes looked a lot better. Like, he was able to come off of double moves better. He was able to, like, he used to be so bad on the in route. Now he just shoot straight across.
So one thing that I really like about Perriman is something that Joe Blewett said. I got to have Joe on here. We had him on, I think, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago now, and I keep meaning to link up with him. I told him that I wanted him to finish up some more of the tape that he was going over. His breakdown of Mims was really good. You should check that out. But he really likes. Oh God, I just lost my train of thought. Who were we just talking about?
Perriman?
He really likes Perriman. Yeah, he was saying that he was getting wide open and Jameis was just missing him early on in the season last year, or he was like the third or fourth option because you're going to Evans, you're going to Godwin,
and they had two good tight ends.
Yeah, the tight ends were good. You had Brait and Howard. So that team.
And didn't they have a pass catching back too?
I don't know who their running back is off the top of my head right now.
It was Ronald Jones, I think.
Yeah, I really didn't watch many of their games. I watched the tail end of their games just because I guess they didn't really affect us at all. But I don't know. That team, I think Perriman could have a breakout year. I really like what Joe Douglas did. I think he got a lot of really high upside guys for this team.
Right, and the thing, it was low dollar amounts too. So.
Oh yeah, we're super cap flexible. Completely agree. All right, brother. I'm gonna get some more calls. Peace.
All right.
You have been ejected from the cockpit. Where's the ejector seat? Boom! Chicken.
Get out of here!
I could add a chicken, but I like the eject. I like the little eject button. That's a pretty good one. Mumtaz, I saw you sent a super chat. Give me a second. I'll find it. He goes, I prefer cactus over dicks in the background. I got the cactus from Becca's bachelorette party. If you have not seen my video that I made yesterday, I'll let you guys check that out. That's what that is in reference to.
Call from Eli.
Eli, what's up, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, what's up, Brian? So I wanted to talk about schedule a little bit because it's coming out Thursday, I think it is. I was gonna say, I think even if we go like a 7-9, it's an improvement from last year because last year our schedule was so easy. It was like, I think it was like the second easiest in the league or something like that. Where this year we're the second hardest. So I'd be happy if we went 7-9 because to me that's signs of improvement.
Yeah, I completely agree. I really think that a 7-9 schedule this year is going to mean a lot more than a 7-9 schedule last year. You got to remember last year, the last two games of the season, the Steelers, we were playing their third-string quarterback, and then we had the Bills backups for that last game. So realistically, those were both almost exhibition games. So if you take away those two wins, or at least split them, let's say we go 1-1, 6-10 sounds a lot worse. Not to mention we faced like the Dolphins twice, the Giants, the Redskins, the Bengals, all teams that picked in the top 5 this year. Like that's an impossibly easy schedule with like no travel at all too.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
This year,
what do you predict the final schedule is going to be? Do you think it's going to be 7-9? Is that your what you're thinking?
I think our schedule is so tough, probably around 7-9 to 8-8.
Okay, yeah, I think that's right. I don't want to say 8-8 because I feel like that's such a cop out answer, and I feel like the Jets are always like mediocre. But I feel like that's a really solid spot, like 7-9 to 9-7. Yeah, I think 7-9 to 9-7 is a successful season for this year. As long as you see Sam Darnold progress, as long as you see Quinnen Williams progress, as long as you see like this team starting to gel together, like that's the grade I'm looking for. I don't necessarily care about the wins so much. I mean, obviously, if it starts going south real quick, I'm going to be upset. But I would like to see the development of the team a little bit more and possibly compete for a playoff. Like I want to play meaningful games in November. If that makes sense.
Well, especially with the 14th seed, we can, like last year, I think it was in the AFC wild card, the Pittsburgh Steelers who were in 8-8 would make the playoffs. So I think if we're like 8-8, we could probably make the playoffs. And sometimes you get hot or something, and you don't know what happens. Like look at the Titans.
That's just it. If the Jets had a really good schedule last year, where they could have, if Sam didn't get sick, and you wind up winning the Buffalo game, the way we played in the Browns game, I think Sam could have won it being healthy and with a healthy Mosley and whatnot. And then you go into a Patriots game, you probably lose that. But now you're talking the Jets have 2 more wins, and now we're at 8-8, and now this team's a lot more competitive. Like I think the Jets are going to be better than what their record has indicated, and I think how the general public feels about the Jets is going to be, drastically different. I think this year. I hope.
And I think that was last year's Bills. I don't think the Bills were that great of a team. I think they really just took advantage of that weak schedule. They won early, and because they had the opposite of our schedule basically, where their easy part of the schedule was early, and they basically took advantage of that thing. I don't think the Bills were that good. You saw them get beat by the Texans, even though they kind of blew the lead. But I think the Bills are a team that took advantage of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Bills are the best team in this division right now. But I do think that they took advantage of a bad schedule last year. They won early on. I think they are better than what we kind of saw in that playoff game. Like I think Josh Allen, I don't know what he was thinking with those laterals and the way he was playing towards the end of the game. He is great. I think he's good. I think he's the second best quarterback in the AFC East right now, just because we haven't seen what Tua is yet in the NFL. I think he's going to wind up being really good. But I think as a weapon, purely as a weapon, not necessarily as a passer, but Josh Allen is just so kind of electric with the running that he can do. He just hurdles guys. The guy's enormous.
Yeah. I think Darnold's a better passer, though, than Allen.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would not take anyone over Sam Darnold right now as far as, like, AFC East quarterbacks go. There's no way you could get me. Yeah, you couldn't get me on board with anyone else. But even young quarterbacks, like who else would I really want? Like Patrick Mahomes, yeah. Lamar Jackson, yeah. Like immediately right now, he's absolutely better. I like Sam long term. Like I think he could. I'm worried that Lamar's going to take one big shot and be done.
Yep.
But I really like Lamar. Like he's the quarterback you want right now to try and win a Super Bowl right now. Like he'll be like super hot flash in the pan that could like blow up the league. I hope he lasts a long time. I hope the duration's there.
To me, he feels like a guy that's not going to be like a Tom Brady who plays for you for 20 years and wins 6 Super Bowls. He's going to be a guy that I'm hoping he's like that because he's very fun to watch.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's just the way he plays, he just takes too many hits. He doesn't slide enough, I feel like, and he's just going to get one big blow, like you said, and he's just going to be done.
Yeah, he's pretty good about getting out of bounds. I will say that. I didn't feel like he took too many big shots. I mean, he definitely took them, but it only takes one bad big shot to really like ruin someone of that caliber. Because what if he gets like? I'd feel so bad if he had like some sort of lower leg injury that prevented that speed from really being elite. Because his passing game, I mean, he was hot for some games. There were some games I feel like he had like 10 passes and like 4 touchdowns. It was like. I don't know. But then there's other games that I see him throw a ball and it's like totally not even close. And I'm like, wow, what the heck's going on?
Like the Rams game, I think it was last year. It was like a primetime Monday night. I remember he was just dotting the field up.
Yeah. God, I don't remember that game. But I remember watching a few that were like, wait, this feels very weird. Because he'll play like stupid crazy one game and then he'll have a totally random, like weird game the next.
Yeah.
All right, dude. I'm gonna hop on to some more callers.
Subscribe.
Yeah. Thank you so much, dude. Take it easy. Appreciate
Bye.
the call.
Have a good night.
You too. King Blaze, thank you for the super chat. If we use Maye in a deal, what does it say? Hold on. I'm just going to click out of here so I don't get a call while I'm trying to talk to you. If we use Maye in a deal for a trade, what do you think we would trade for? D-end, cornerback, wide receiver, or picks, or a mixture of both? What would I prefer? D-end, cornerback. Those would be the two positions I would prefer. Whichever one you can get. I would take picks, too. I would have no problem with picks. If you can get a second-round pick for Marcus Maye, I'd do that all day. If you could get Yannick, I'd consider it. That's just like a lot of money, plus picks, plus Maye. That's a lot. Cornerback-wise, I don't know who would be on the market as far as a trade goes. I have not looked too far into that. I'm more on the edge rusher kind of trade. If Yannick's more the player you could get, I could see Judon being an answer maybe. If the Jets want an edge rusher with a Douglas connection, sort of. But there's not really, I don't know how much of a Douglas connection there is now. I'm sure he knows, a ton of people over there still. I don't know. The Jets have a lot of money once Tremaine Johnson comes off the books on June 1st. So the Jets could make a move. And I wonder if that's why maybe some teams are not, maybe not some teams, but maybe Clowney is possibly waiting, like knows he's kind of flirting with the Jets, knows the Jets are going to get a big payday kind of soon with the Tremaine Johnson money coming off the books. So maybe he waits till then. If he doesn't get what he wants from the Jets, maybe he goes over and gets something from another team. All right. The phone lines are open. Don't forget the question of the day. Question of the day is, there is a rumor that someone on the Jets could potentially be traded. What position does he play? Go down into the description below, head down to the Jets Discord, and head down to the poll section. Answer the question. What position does that player play? And you get yourself entered to win a hat, shirt, or mug from the Jets Talk store.
To accept, press 1.
What's up, Vinny?
Well, what's up? How you been?
Oh, hanging in there, It's been nice. I went back to work on Friday, so I'm a little tired. I had to wake up at 5 o'clock today.
Congratulations. Your life is starting to return to normal.
Oh, yeah. No, work at the golf course. It's weird because we're only sending out twosomes right now. So twosomes, and it's every 16 minutes. So we actually have like 8 golfers an hour. If you do the math, it's ridiculous.
No,
but it's nice to be back at work.
Just relaxing, remember how you said you don't? And I've been relaxing and reading. I've been reading the rule book for New York sports fans by Joe Beningo. Hilarious.
Oh yeah, do you like it? Is it worth the read?
Yeah, it says there's one rule. It says Rule 34, don't bet on your favorite sports teams, and then Rule 35, especially if that team is the Jets.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all. I never bet on the Jets really. I'll do I try not to pick Jets players on my fantasy team because I'd rather be really happy that the team won and did well than double down and oh shit, they didn't play well and my fantasy team lost. I don't want the Wombo combo.
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good book. Obviously the first rule, one team per sport, and all. But let's get back onto the schedule because.
Sure. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think's going on?
Well, I'm not sure. First off, I was looking at this schedule. NJ.com just did their schedule prediction. It made me laugh so hard I almost pissed my pants.
No.
I mean, their prediction for the Jets road game against the Patriots was so ludicrous. Not even the most pessimistic Jets fan could think this is a viable outcome with the Patriots' current roster.
What did they say?
38-6.
Oh, man. If Brian Hoyer puts up 38 points on the Jets defense, I would be so upset. I'm not afraid of Stidham.
I could see us lose 20-17 or 23-17, but
yeah.
not 38-6.
Yeah, no, I would be pretty surprised if we only. I mean, that defense is filthy, but I think our offense has gotten drastically better.
I don't think it's going to be good. I think there's too many old. I think their players are too old. I think I think they're going to start seeing some of their star players get older, and I don't think the draft picks are going to hit as well as they used to. I mean, he hasn't had a good draft since 2013.
Yeah, it's been a while. Bill Belichick is notorious for not having phenomenal drafts. You would expect him to get do well drafting, but he's just really good at getting the most out of like the players he has, and the players he has don't cost a lot.
Yeah, no,
Except for
I'm just
Gilmore,
looking
I guess.
I'm just looking forward to being able to enjoy football. Without that fear of Tom Brady and the Patriots, and they're going to humiliate us, and we're going to be their punching bag, and yada yada yada, and being able to enjoy and watch football and see maybe someone else win this division. Honestly, I don't really care who wins it, just as long as it's not New England.
Yeah, I really hope that New England doesn't win. I just want to see a new flag wave. That's what it is. I just want to see a new champion.
My feeling is somewhere around your guys, everyone else is the 7 to 9 range.
Yep.
I feel like it's kind of like, 1967 was for the Jets of the 60s. They were building, they were getting closer, but they weren't quite there yet.
Mm-hmm.
That stepping stone away from putting the final piece. Because I think
I think we're a year away. I would say not.
I think I think with all the moves we've made, I think we've plugged up our holes in the secondary. Hopefully, if look, I like Austin. I think Bryce Hall could definitely pan out if he's healthy. I think you got your cornerbacks. I mean, I don't know about, and Poole should be good for a few more years. Hopefully,
I hope so.
I think your cornerback room is set, and then Lamar Jackson and the other guy they traded for the Colts will add some nice depth. So I think next year, you're going to look to get edge. I do like the idea of trying to get Juju to, add some more punch to the receiver room, considering his chemistry with Sam. So I feel like, and then the Jets have all that money next year, so it's going to be really interesting. But I feel like we're going to be, we could squeak in.
Where do you think we go? I'll Google right now what free agents there's going to be. Is there a direction you think we go in free agency next year, or the draft? Like, what's our positions of need?
Well, right now we obviously need edge. I think we'll figure out our cornerback situation by next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's edge. I guess probably going to be maybe looking for running back, because I don't know if we're going to keep Bell or not. So edge, running back, maybe some more. I'm not sure where the depth. I'm not sure exactly where we could use depth. Maybe making probably some more tinkering on the O-line wouldn't surprise me with Joe Douglas.
Mm-hmm. So right now, the free agents that are going to be available, I guess let's look at position. We'll look at edge rusher. Defense. Do we look at outside? Oh, we'll just look at edge.
By the way, I was laughing at this troll the other day.
Oh, yeah?
After the draft about Denzel Mims saying he'll flop because he's on the Jets. And so I said the Jets wide receiver coach is the guy who made Megatron what he is. And he said that doesn't mean anything because no good coach would ever work for the Jets.
Ooh,
so you know what I said?
Wow, that's rough. What'd you say?
So Eubank, Pete Carroll, Bill Parcells, and Bill Belichick must all be terrible head coaches.
Yeah, right. They all worked for the Jets. It's like a jackwagon.
How many Super Bowls is that? So that's
bunch.
12, 10 Super Bowls, right?
Yeah, it's a shame we don't have any of them, or well, not any of them, but we got one.
Yeah,
we got the one.
So
here,
really terrible 10 Super Bowls.
So get this. Here's the edge rushers that are hitting free agency next year, assuming
they don't get tagged.
Yeah.
Fair,
so
the good ones are going to get tagged, and then you're going to be feasting on scraps.
So Von Miller is 32 years old. He's going to be a free agent. Yannick Ngakoue is going to be 26 if he's not traded.
Super Bowl 50 hero.
Yeah, no, I know. He's going to retire a Bronco, I think. I think Yannick gets traded and extended this year. Olivier Vernon's 30 years old, so he's going to hit free agency. They list Leonard Williams in here. Chris Jones, Melvin Ingram. Melvin Ingram, I didn't realize he was 32 years old. I forget that he's as old as that. Matthew Judon is 29, or will be 29 next year. Bud Dupree will be 28. Shaq Barrett.
Interesting, yeah.
Justin Houston's 32.
I'm thinking about trying to get a YouTube sports channel going, but more of a comedic one.
Sure.
I'm going to put on this persona of like this stereotypical Guido New York greaser.
Yeah.
Like a guy fitting of the name Vinny. with
Oh, yeah,
all
okay.
the Italian New York mannerisms.
All right.
While still trying to be like an informative sports channel.
So you're going to be a like a
Kind
caricature.
of like kind of over-exaggerated versions of Bad Dog and the Entertainer.
All right. I like it. I'd watch.
I gotta just work. Well, first off, I gotta read the book. It's Football for Dummies. Read about my football, and then also practice my accent because I kind of suck at everything. It's just not good. I can't do a good accent, you know.
You can't do a good accent, and you're getting ejected, Vinny. You're my cousin, Vinny. You're getting ejected. Bah! Sorry, Vinny. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Boys and girls, if you've not answered the question of the day, down in the description down below, there's a link to the Jets Discord. Head down to the poll section of the Jets Discord and answer this question. What position does the player that was possibly getting traded or being rumored to be traded, what position does that player play?
Call from Chris from Florida.
Chris from Florida, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's going on, Jets Talk 24/7?
Yay! How's it going, brother?
Not much, man, not much. You know, getting through the weekend, starting the fresh week.
There you go. What do you think for the Jets schedule? We've been talking about that a lot. We've been talking about the Marcus Maye thing a lot. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah. So I definitely want to. So with the whole schedule thing, I really, really want to make it to the playoffs. I know it sounds ridiculous, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're putting too much hope." The real reason I want to do it is because if you look at all the draft picks of the quarterbacks during Sam Darnold's draft year, you obviously see the backwards flip on all the quarterbacks that have been drafted in order. So you went from Mayfield, Darnold, Josh Allen, and then Josh Rosen, which I feel bad, but he's not going to play at all. And
He's not.
And then Lamar Jackson. But it seems like those that are rising are doing it the backwards way. So I really want Darnold to really make it to the playoffs. Also, I want to see how he handles the pressure of playoff contendency. Because let's say we do take about a couple of years to make it to the playoffs. Then you still have to worry about all that time that Darnold has tried to build to get to that moment.
Sure.
Now you have to worry about Darnold handling being in the playoffs, and it's a whole different ballgame then.
That's true. If you can kind of get that monkey off your back right off the beginning, like if you could somehow win one playoff game like in this year or next year, I feel like that goes a long way for Sam's confidence and the confidence of this team moving forward. I think that would be I think that's going to be huge. I mean, I'm not expecting the playoffs, but I would love to see, even if we get the 7th seed. I would hope we get the 6th seed because I feel like the 7th seed's kind of like a little shot in the gut. Like, oh, you only got in because they needed to change the rules for the Jets to make the playoffs. I'm just kind of trying to avoid those jokes.
Yeah, it's kind of like the wild card is like a pre-playoff contendency right there for you. And you still get the pressure of it because you still want – the whole mindset is once you get to that point, if you win, you get to play one more game. That's the mindset I see it as. If we win, we get to play one more game. We win this game, it's one more game.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's just it. You got to take every game one at a time. So you start week 1. I hope we have a better schedule than we did last year. I don't want week 4 bye. I don't want to play like the hard part of our schedule in the first 5 weeks of the season. I hope it's just like a fair schedule, because if we could start out, beginning of the season, you start to get some of the kinks out, some of the rust out from possibly a shorter preseason or a shorter camp season. That's why I think you might hold on to Maye. That's why I think you might hold on to Winters and Williamson, because it might take time for these new players to step in with a shortened practice period.
I just don't see where Winters will play after all these offensive linemen we've signed. I mean, I guess I can see him as a backup still, but as far as a starter, not really. But how did you feel about Andy Darnold signing with the Cowboys and that contract deal? Do you feel like the Jets could have benefited signing him because he's okay being a backup? Do you think the Jets could have been better off with that kind of contract deal instead of doing the draft pick one?
So I've had people ask me about Andy Dalton and would I have signed him, and I said I would. I think he's not a threat to start, really. I think he's a good mentor. I think he's a rock-solid backup if Sam were to go down, I think he could absolutely win you a game or two in the meantime. I just don't. I don't know. I would have gone a different direction other than James Morgan. I don't have a problem with them wanting to develop a system backup quarterback that could just stay there for years. Like, I think that's important. So I don't want to kind of rag on Morgan too much, but I would have preferred maybe Dalton for a year or two, and maybe use that draft pick on another position that I might be able to see on the field this year, where I don't think Morgan's going to see the field. I think at best he's going to be competing for the backup role.
So you're more preferable of the value and experience side, more towards you didn't care as much about the whole price range stuff because
well, didn't he get didn't Andy Dalton get a like $7 million deal, I think, or something like that? I would be okay with that. Like, if Flacco wants that, like, I would be okay with that. The Jets have enough money right now that they could still bring in an edge rusher, and I just think Dalton's a better quarterback at this point than Dalton is.
Oh, no, I agree with that. But as far as that deal going with Flacco, I don't know. Because Flacco and Andy Dalton have a way different ceiling, in my opinion, towards their passing rate. Because Andy Dalton has definitely thrown farther than 1,000 yards more than one season.
Well, I think with Flacco, you get someone who Joe Douglas scouted and like touted very highly. So I think that would be the connection there. With Dalton, there's not really a connection that I'm aware of. I mean, he's with Dallas now, so it doesn't matter. But I would have been fine with it. I don't want Cam Newton. I see the chat kind of bringing him up. I think Cam's going to wind up signing with the Chargers. That would be my guess.
I don't want Cam Newton either. I don't want Cam Newton because the thing is, Cam Newton, I think he's a great player, and obviously he had that great stride in California, but Carolina. But the thing for me is he will most definitely try to overthrow Donald. He is in the mindset where I'm a starter, I'm a star, I'm all about the big picture, and I'm nobody's backup.
So
that's how I see him.
Sure. So what did you think about Winston taking the $1.1 million deal in New Orleans?
That was smart because
I like
so
it.
Young.
I like it a lot.
He clearly had an opportunity to go to a different team as a starter.
Sure.
They talked about him being able to start at another team. He made the decision to go under Breeze because he said, I would rather be the future of this team, but them knowing that I learned and trained under their best. That was such a good move, and I was impressed with that.
Yeah, I thought that showed a lot of maturity from Jameis. I think that took a lot to swallow your pride. He was about to get, I think, if he were to get franchise tagged, I think it was close to $30 million. I think it was like $26 or $27 million for the franchise tag. So he was almost there. Like, if they didn't get Tom Brady, there's like, I don't know. I really like that he took the $1.1 million. I think it shows that he's matured from when you got to see him in college out to like where he is now. And I think it puts the Saints in a good position because now you have a potential heir to Drew Brees, or you could get a potential comp pick if you want to go out and get a different quarterback.
Yeah, I'm sad that Teddy Bridgewater didn't stay with the Saints. But,
I love Teddy, and I like the Saints too, so that's why I would have liked to have seen him stay there. I don't have a problem with Carolina. At least he's like in the NFC still.
Yeah, I definitely think him and Robbie Anderson are going to be a threat together. I think they're going to be like a duo crazy team.
I'm excited to watch that. Yeah.
So with Marcus Maye being a trade rumor, I'm not surprised, obviously, because of the Ashton Davis. I really like the kid. I always thought that we really would pick him more for the Greg Williams being able to put him in another position. And if he does become a replacement for Marcus Maye, I really think it's a good idea because he's pretty much a copier version of Jamal Adams when he started. The guy is hard-hitting. The guy is a big rusher. He always knows how to play the field right. So with the Marcus Maye trade, if I were to auction him off, what about the Cowboys? Because they were showing interest in Jamal Adams. What about something with the Cowboys, maybe taking one of their wide receivers that they have under contract? Because, we still are looking for more targets for Sam.
Yeah, let's see. Let me go over the cap real quick, and we'll look at the receivers that they got. I would be okay with that. I think what is it? Is it Gallup the one that everyone's kind of like talking about? He's got 2 years remaining on his contract. So yeah, if you could get him, maybe he's 24 years old this year. If you could get him for May, I think that's an interesting trade. I would do that. I don't know if.
I think the only other team that I would consider trading with is really is with the Lions, because they could use a safety, someone as coordinated and is someone who's very calmly oriented with the system. I think what's his name, Patricia, could really use a guy like that, and he would lead the defensive side of his organization.
What would you want from Detroit? Like, is there a player that you like? If you could get Kerryon Johnson for Marcus Maye, I would do that.
I would definitely.
I don't know if you could. They just drafted a running back.
But honestly, I would actually prefer a pick, because I still don't I don't think the Detroit Lions are really all that good. So I've always, when people ask me like, who do you think is going to be dead last, my vote is always going to be Miami Dolphins and Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I always think the Lions, the Browns. I don't necessarily think the Dolphins. I guess because of last year probably, but I always think like in my head it's the Browns and the Detroit Lions have just been terrible forever. The Jets have been bad too. Like they're probably like third, or the Bengals maybe.
I just hate the Dolphins so much. They're a good tie between them and the Patriots for hating them so much. So. And plus, I've personally, through my time, never seen the Dolphins play too well as when I've been watching football.
Sure.
But as far as with the Detroit Lions for a trade, I'm more interested into a draft pick, because, again, I feel like no matter what, the Detroit Lions will disappoint you. They have never made it They have never made a playoff appearance ever in their entire history. So.
Are you sure? I thought they broke that. I could be wrong. I thought Stafford got it. Lions.
I don't think so.
I could be wrong. I don't know if they've gotten a playoff win. Maybe they've been. I think they've been to the playoffs. Let me see. I could be.
I'm pretty sure that they haven't made a playoff appearance yet.
Yeah. Okay, so they won a playoff game in 1991. And they won 2 in 1957. So that was was that before? Yeah, that's before the NFL.
Oh wow!
So
that's surprising.
Yeah, and so with Stafford was taken in 2008. They've been to 3 playoffs since then. 2011, 14, and 16. They lost all 3 of those games. They lost to the Saints, the Cowboys, and the Seahawks. So they kind of got dealt a rough hand. But I do think that, I guess they've been better. They had that 0-16 year where they got Stafford, and that was kind of sticks in everyone's mind.
As far as with the schedule thing, I think we're going to surprise some people. Like I said, I really would like it if we could make close to a playoff contingency, just because I really want to see Sam Darnold show that development and also get the experience. My biggest thing is I think we will beat the Patriots based on the fact that they have to go under a new quarterback. He's still got to learn the system. Obviously, the relationship between Belichick and some players are fading in a bit, and they franchise tagged one of their offensive linemen, which makes no sense to me. Like, really?
Yeah, I'm shocked they didn't extend him long term, or maybe he wasn't. Maybe he wants to hit free agency and he wasn't going to sign a long term deal yet. Like it's tough to. He's a healthy guy, so I think he's played in every single one of their games or close to it. Maybe missed one game.
But I think we're going to surprise some people with those hard teams that we're going to play. Like, I'm not saying we're going to beat the Chiefs or the 49ers. However, with the other teams, someone like the Seahawks, I think Greg Williams is going to get himself a real good mesh together, because the defense, I got a lot of confidence on what we've shown, and knowing that our players are going to be super healthy. Who I really want to beat, though, is the Browns. I went
just stomp Baker. Oh yeah, that's rough. Yeah, I would love to see Baker lose, because we've kind of had we got screwed the last 2 years against the Browns.
It's so unfair, because obviously when Baker came out his first year, that was his big opening. Like,
oh yeah,
obviously he got just like Sam Darnold against the Lions. They were like, "This is your big moment. You better shine." And of course they shine. With the second year, I bought those tickets to the Jets, and that was my first Jets game. I went to my first Jets game, home game, and I went to go see Sam Darnold whoop the crap out of Baker. And what happened?
Well, hopefully it happens. It's going to happen this year. I want you to, like, pull yourself up by your damn bootstraps. Sam Darnold's going to go in and just dominate the Browns. Baker Mayfield's going to go crying back to his mommy. It's going to happen. I'm calling it.
Which is why I really want them to have a home game at the Jets. Well, it is a home game, but I really hope that they open the stadiums for people if they do, because I'm going to that game. I want my money's worth.
Fingers crossed, dude. Listen, I'm going to get some more callers. Thank you so much for calling
Absolutely. Go Jets!
in. Yeah. Thank you, Chris. As always. Gangrene, not a cult, says we're going to own the Browns this year. You damn right we're going to own the Browns. Liam says Ryan's going to make me run through a wall. Just be safe. I don't want you to get knocked out by running through a wall, but thank you. Get excited for football season. Nick, what's good, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
What's up, Ryan? How you doing?
Hanging in there. What's on your mind?
Well, first off, may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
So first off, I want to touch up on Jadeveon Clowney.
Okay.
I watched the last game of the season, Seattle against the 49ers, and Chris Collinsworth, quote-unquote, said, got to give a lot of credit to Clowney because he's played the games injured. He's going for surgery this offseason, and I feel that if the Jets could add him for the right price, he could get guys like Quinnen Williams, Jordan Jenkins, and all those guys like that racking up sacks like crazy. You know what I'm saying a little bit?
Yeah, I like Jadeveon Clowney. His upside is enormous. The guy is hands down a great edge run defender. He's dominant when he rushes the passer at times. He doesn't get a ton of sacks, but he is just dominant. Like, he will physically dominate the player that's in front of him. Now, I don't know what you're going to have to pay for him because he's had injury issues. He's had the penalty issues. He was the number one non-offensive lineman in penalties last year, and he only played in 8 games, or 11 games, I think. I think it was 11 games.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, so it's like that's concerning for me. I think if you have to worry about him moving your team backwards, and price too, because like, what's this guy want? Like, I think he turned down $17 million from Seattle maybe, or the Titans. Yeah, I don't want that. Apparently he kind of knocked his price down a bit. If we could get him for like 14, I would do a year at 14 million probably, and then just let him walk and then try to get a comp pick. Unless he plays really well, then maybe you franchise tag him.
Yeah.
We'll see. What do you really want to do? You would bring him in?
I would bring him in on a 2-year, maybe 18, but give him 30 guaranteed.
Okay.
Give him 30 guaranteed.
I think I would do incentives like, hey, you're gonna get paid as long as you're on the field. You stay healthy, you don't cause a ton of penalties, you're gonna get paid like the top edge defender that you want to be paid like. Like, those are the kind of contracts I like to see. Like, I would pay Jamal like he's a top player if he's gonna perform like it. Like, there should be a lot of performance-based contracts, and based on the certain amount of stats, you're guaranteed to hit these figures. Although they'd never do that because then you don't get any benefit to having a player on a cheap deal.
Right. I just want to touch up on 2 more things. I just want to touch up on schedule, and then, first I want to talk about who do you think is the right coach and NFL free agents that we should target for next year's off season. I know we have a ton of money.
Yeah, we're gonna have close to 100 million after we cut Bell. If we cut Bell, like I could see Douglas holding on to these players like Winters, like Avery Williamson, because we don't want to necessarily open up a hole on our team, and I think it doesn't look good for the rest of the locker room if you're giving away players that might be locker room favorites. If they leave after the season, that's a different story because people are happy that they got a new contract. Like, I think Robbie leaving isn't as detrimental as maybe having to move on from someone else. Free agent wise, let's see, who do I want? I had a list up a second ago. I would look at edge rusher. So guys that may not have signed contracts, like a Judon, a Bud Dupree, a Yannick Ngakoue, that would be the direction I'd look. Edge rusher and corner are the positions of need that I see for the New York Jets next year. Let's see, 20, 21. NFL.
I like a Joe Tooney or a Brandon Scherf for next year. I know Scherf signed a franchise tag.
I would say yes to Thuney. I would say no to Sheriff. That would be my preference there, because I think Sheriff.
Well, he has an injury problem, right?
That's just it. Like, Thuney's been really healthy, and he's been really good. So he would be the player I'd go after. I would say he might be number 1 for me. Now you have Winters, who would be leaving and or will be cut this year. Van Roten, I think, is on a 3-year deal. Lewis is on a 1-year deal.
Right.
So if you bring in a
and
Thuney,
does play left guard.
He does. I mean, that would be huge. I'd be all for getting him.
I think that's the Jets who wanted this year to fall to free agency was Thuney, and I think they were gonna get him locked and loaded for about a 4-year deal probably.
Yeah, that would be interesting. So cornerback wise, as far as the cornerback market goes, Jalen Ramsey is going to be a free agent.
I think he's going to get a deal with the Rams.
I think so too. You don't trade away 2 first-round picks without signing that guy. Brian Poole, we're going to have to bring him back. Mckenzie Alexander from Cincinnati. They have Desir on here, of course. There's no one that really jumps out at me for free agency for cornerbacks next year. So there's some older guys like Richard Sherman's 33. I'm not going to roll the dice on him. Patrick Peterson's 31. I've kind of had enough PTSD of older cornerbacks. Oh, sorry, dude. You got ejected from the cockpit by accident. Source on ownership. What are you guys talking about? Thuney wanted to play here. I hope so. If Thuney wants to play here, I'd be all about it. Maye is worth $6 million max after paying Jamal Adams. That's what you guys are saying.
Call from
Nick, sorry, dude, we got cut off.
Yeah, I just lost you. Yep.
Where were we? So cornerback wise, I'm not touching the older guys. So you're probably gonna have to look at edge rusher. Where is he? If we're looking at edge rusher, now you're talking someone like I think Ndakwe is gonna get traded and signed. Then you have Chris Jones, Bud Dupree's 28, will be 28. Shaq Barrett will be 28.
Those tackles are very interesting with Steve McClendon potentially going to retirement.
Yeah, there's going to be a few players on the defensive side of the ball that I would be intrigued to bring in next year. I don't know how the draft is looking, if there's going to be a strong cornerback draft or a strong edge draft. If the Jets finish, let's say 7-9, 8-8, that puts you somewhere in the ballpark of, maybe the 12th pick to the 16th pick. So you can get an elite cornerback somewhere in there, I would think. At least someone that's good, someone I considered good this year. I thought Trayvon Diggs was really good. He went in the second round. Those are players. If I get someone of that caliber, even in the mid ones, I'd be pretty happy.
Right.
What was the other question? I think there was one more thing you wanted to touch on.
The coach and schedule.
Coach and schedule. So coach, I hope Adam Gase is the coach of the future, because that means we figured it out and we have a stable organization moving forward. I've heard a lot of good things about him. The eye test doesn't look good for me right now, but there were enough issues on that Jets team last year that I am okay with giving Gase a pass for last year. But if we see more of the same this year with a much more improved team, I think he's out the door. And then I don't know where you go. I don't know if it's a college coach or if you try to bring in, do you go with the guy from the Chiefs?
Right, Eric Bieniemy.
Bieniemy, yeah. The guy was a top head coaching candidate 2 years in a row, and no one signed him. I think people probably think Andy Reid is making the calls there, but I think he's someone you have to bring in for an interview and at least talk to him, figure out what he's about. Right. I don't think Lincoln Riley's leaving college. Harbaugh, you might be able to get me on board with that, but I think Harbaugh and Greg Williams might be a powder keg. Bieniemy would probably be the first choice for a lot of people, I would think. Is there someone that you're thinking of?
I want to touch up on.
Sure.
With Gase, I could cut him some slack. Everyone says, he finished the season. What was it, 6-2, 5-1?
Yeah, I can't give him all the wins for that though.
Right, but think about it. The Jets could have been easily a playoff team. Last year, week 1,
sure.
We lost to the Bills. Week 1,
mm.
we lose to the Bengals.
Dolphins. The Dolphins, yeah.
And I was at the game against the Dolphins at MetLife, and I was cringing my fingers. I was like, are we really going to lose to the Miami Dolphins?
Oh, it's crushing. It's just embarrassing. We're such a
Yeah.
joke of an organization at times, and it's so frustrating.
Right.
I just want to see us have some confidence. Like, I feel like when we were in the Chad Pennington years, there was very much a swagger of like, hey, the Jets could go in there and win that game. Like with Sanchez, the second year after we went to the championship game, the first year, I think there was a little bit of swagger in some stuff, but we really haven't had that since like the mid-2000s.
Right. And last thing, schedule. What do you think about the schedule?
I think the Jets, if we go worse than 7-9, I'd be upset. I think 7-9 is definitely a winnable. Is a schedule that's doable. I think we went through the whole schedule before, and I think there's legitimate thoughts that, like, you know, if the Patriots are not good, maybe that's 2 wins. If the Dolphins are not good and 2 is like just not quite there yet, that could be 2 wins. Like, I don't see us beating the Bills twice. Like, you could see us getting swept by them. I think ultimately you wind up splitting. I think you go 3-3. That's sort of how you always call the division. And then for the AFC West and the NFC West, like, I'm not afraid of the AFC West outside of the Chiefs. I mean, I think we could definitely lose to the Raiders. We could definitely lose to the Chargers.
To the Broncos.
To the Broncos, yeah, like all of them. They're all like the Jets haven't shown enough consistency to me to say that I could see us getting to like 10-6. But could I see anywhere from 6-10 to 10-6? Sure. I could see it anywhere in that sort of range. I think we wind up going 7-9, but look way better doing it.
Right. When we play the NFC West, I look at the beatable teams there, and I look at the Rams. I think the Rams are a complete joke.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jared Goff is good, but they lost a lot. They lost Todd Gurley. You lose Brandon Cooks. You lose. Then you look at Seattle. Seattle. I mean, I don't think we're winning it. If I think we're in Seattle this year, there's no way we're winning it. CenturyLink. That's a tough place to play.
Yeah, I don't see us winning that one. I don't see us beating the 49ers. I don't trust Jimmy G. I really don't. From what I've watched, I do trust Shanahan, though, and I think that team is very good. So I don't think the Jets would go in there definitely as the underdog. But it wouldn't shock me to necessarily beat them. It wouldn't shock me necessarily to beat the Colts, but I trust Rivers more. I think that team is better. I think that offensive line's better. It's tough for me to see the
Rivers is going to be better with the offensive line. He had no offensive line help with the Chargers.
Yeah, he needed that. He's now got one of the best offensive lines in the league, and I think he's still got a lot in him. Like I like Rivers. I thought Rivers was the best quarterback of the bunch of those 3 that came out that year. Like Big Ben has the Super Bowl rings. Eli's got the Super Bowl rings. I've always liked Rivers.
Yeah. But listen, I think the Jets could easily be a wild card team, like you said, that seventh. But next year, I think it's pedal to the metal. Next year, I think it's. I think we could, if we get those pieces and we make the right moves, trust Joe Douglas, we could easily be competing for the AFC East division title.
Fingers crossed, dude. I've got trust in Joe Douglas. In Joe, we trust. I'm going to get to the next caller. Thank you so much for calling in. Peace. Subscribe. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Guys, if you've not answered the question of the day is going to be down in the description below. Head down to the Jets Discord, go down to the poll section, and answer this question. One of the players that was possibly getting traded or rumored to be traded today, what position does that player play? We were talking about it earlier. It's also kind of in the title of this video. So head down to the Jets Discord, get yourself entered to win a hat, shirt, or mug from the store.
Ethan.
Hey, what's up, dude? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, how you doing, brother? Good to talk to you.
Yeah, good talking to you, too. What's on your mind?
Hey, just wanted to answer that question right off the bat about Marcus Maye.
Go for it.
We can
what position does he play? What position?
What position? Free safety.
There you go. I hope you entered it in the Jets Discord so you get a shot to win.
He's interchangeable, but what quick solution to him is, like we're saying, he's older. He's 27, right? So you lock him up right now, early. You know,
if you can lock him
for
a
4-year deal.
Okay.
4-year deal, about $10 million a year, $25 million guaranteed with an out after 2.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'd do that.
Taking that.
Well, that's just it. The Jets are going to have $100 million in cap space. If you could retain someone that's going to, help keep the chemistry on that team, and if Greg Williams really wants to run 3 safeties, then, you have room for all 3 of these guys. You still need a backup either way, so Ashton Davis is cheap. It's not going to cost you a whole lot. If you have $100 million in cap space and you don't know who you're going to spend it on in free agency, might as well retain some of your own, even if it's just for a year, unless you can find an upgrade elsewhere.
Well, that's what I'm saying too. We're every year we all put our hopes on all these players too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like early, when I talked to these are crapshoots.
Yeah,
so
but I would take
totally
2 years of
out,
Maye though.
Brian Poole needs a break. You know what I mean? He needs to rest sometimes. You got that slot, blew him down there. You got 3 safety look right there. You know what I mean? You're kind of convincing. And I heard another gentleman earlier. He said how we're all in for next year. This is almost like an all in for this year, actually, because you have these guys still on the contract. Like we still have Avery Williamson. We picked up the other guy from the Ravens right there. He's a good blitzer. We just invested a bunch of money in the offensive line. So, and keep on saying that, this, the wide receiver room is weak. It's this, that, next thing. We got to look. We have 2 first-rounders in that room. Remember, we picked up Josh Doxson, too.
Sure, Josh Doxson. You got Perriman. And I felt Mims was a first-rounder. He just fell all the way down to the second.
Exactly. So, I mean, this is like kind of an all-in for this year. And I wouldn't be surprised, especially with the defensive line. We're completely stocked, as far as defensive line right now, which is fantastic. I expect a big year out of Nathan Shepard. Is what I expect a big year out of. I mean, Foley, he's going to come along as well. But
I'm excited for Fatukasi.
Huge year. Has a huge year. Look out for Nathan Shepard on that.
So
but,
what do you think our record winds up being?
Me, I'm looking at a solid 9-7. And
I would be very happy with that. I would be very happy with a 9-7 season.
A disappointment. Because you have to remember, we have everybody coming back, and if everybody stays healthy, we do have a lot of money invested in this team. Like, if we go
9-7 and stay healthy, then next year going into free agency, this team's going to look real desirable, and it's going to be a lot of teams and players looking at the Jets and saying, "Wow, Sam Darnold's legit." I think if we go 9-7, that means Sam Darnold had a good year, and we're in good shape for 2021.
And God forbid any of these corners really pan out. Like, God forbid Bryce Hall, comes and pulls a Bless Austin where he's fully healthy.
Could you imagine?
Coming in. You got Bless coming in, on another year if he stays healthy. I mean, he played pretty good. You got 2 future guys right there that you're looking at. Plus, we picked up a couple of guys from the Colts right there. So, Desir's pretty good. So, but I'm really looking at it as far as, I heard another guy talk earlier. He's like, well, I don't really know where we need the depth. We always need depth on offensive line.
Oh, that's just it. Well, that's why I think you hold on to winners right now. Hold on to winners right now until you need the money. I mean, if you need the money, then I get moving them. But if you're not going to spend the money on a player that's going to help you, you might as well keep the offensive line depth and keep the chemistry in the locker room.
Yeah, he's been a starter in this league for a long time. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you keep him? You have these people on the contract right now, and you have outs on them. Like you have the out on Williamson, you have the out on Winters after next year, you have the out on us. So that's going to free up more money. And that's money that we can invest in Marcus Maye. I mean, I'd like to look at the symmetry that those two have in the back, in the back end. Him and Jamal, it's ridiculous.
It is.
They're like one's feeding off the other.
Yeah, I do really like that. I think that's going to be. It's going to be an interesting situation because if the Jets trade Marcus Maye and now Jamal Adams wants a ton of money, it's like he's just going to be like, oh, you traded away my best friend and now I'm just even more mad at you.
Exactly. What do you think realistically he's going to sign for per year?
Adams or Maye?
Yeah, Adams.
Adams, I think he's going to want 17. I don't know if we're going to go that high because Joe Douglas isn't the one that signed Mosley to that deal. He's not the one that signed Tremaine Williams to that deal. So I think we offer him 15 or 16 million a year to start. I think he tries to go for 17. Maybe we land somewhere in the middle, or he starts at 18 and we land at 17. I think when you look at the money that we have and you look at the players that we have paid money, and Jamal has really shown up. He has at least been 110% all the time. The stats, he doesn't have a ton of flashy stats. He's got the sacks, but those were against a terrible schedule. So I'm okay. Like, I think he's way more valuable than Tremaine Johnson, and we paid Tremaine Johnson $17 million the last 3 years. So like last 2 years. So I'm all for paying Jamal his money. I just think the Jets have a lot of leverage in contract negotiations right now. So like, why are you gonna, like, not necessarily cripple your salary cap, but if you have him under contract, you could have him locked in for the next 4 years and still not pay him $17 million a year. So if you could pay him, if you could say, hey, Jamal, we're going to guarantee you a 4-year salary of whatever your, fourth year, fifth year option, and then you have 2 franchise tags. But those aren't guaranteed. You could always, if you break your leg in your 5th year option, you're not getting those other 2 franchise tags. But if you can guarantee him those 4 years, now all of a sudden it's the same money you would have been paying, but he gets the guaranteed money up front. And you're talking $50 million, $60 million, possibly in 4 years, roughly.
But here's where you can get good. See, I heard I watched your video earlier actually about trading Marcus Maye for Njoku.
Yep.
Right. And I kind of had feelings on it where I kind of disagreed because look, Marcus Maye is legitimately one of the top free safeties in the league.
I think he's top 15 for sure.
Yeah, if you can sign this guy for $10 million, you got him for the next 4. As soon as we get Njoku, he wants $18 million, $20 million a year. Mm-hmm. Now we're cutting into Jamal's pay. You know what I mean? We're already paying Mosley. Sam's coming up sooner than later. You know what I mean? If he plays well, so it's and we have a lot of guys on 1-year contracts. So
well, that's just it. Do you want to pay $10 million to Maye, though, if you're going to want to pay Jamal $17 million? Or even if you're going to pay Jamal $15 million, do you really want to pay? It's going to be tough. Like, I like Maye. I just think if you can get either another position of need, since you've invested the resources in Ashton Davis, I would probably be okay with moving on from Maye. If Maye wants to take like a $6 or $7 or $8 million contract for 1 year or 2 years, I would consider that. I don't know. It depends what you can get for him in a trade. I think a 3rd round pick is probably what I consider.
You sign him to the longer deal, the 4-year deal.
But I don't know if you want to be locked into a 27-year-old player that long when you have a young, safety sort of sitting in the wings. Like, if you could get out of it without too much dead cap after a year or two, after 2 years, 2 years I could swallow. Like this year plus 2 more. But you kind of want to see how he plays this year.
I do. You make a valid point there, but you have to remember too, Ashton Davis is like 15 to 18 pounds lighter than Marcus Maye. And Marcus Maye's already a grown man, so this guy's got a frail frame. We actually don't. He's like a hybrid kind of player.
Yeah,
We don't really. He's gonna, what he's gonna do. Obviously, he'll bulk up because he's a young kid. He's gonna bulk up, as soon as he gets the facility. Yeah.
I think he's 4 years younger than Maye right now. I think he's 23.
Yes, he's 23. Yes. Mm-hmm. So, he's going to bulk up, but, you're talking about 15, 20 pounds, and you have an established guy. Ashton Davis is pennies on the dollar for the next how many years. So, even after 2 years, you're all, wow, this guy bulked up. He looks great now. See you, Maye.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Because you're out of the contract. But for that 2 years, you had an awesome, free safety in Maye. This guy's on the field. When healthy, this guy's on the field like 97% to 98% of the plays. That's huge.
Yeah, and if you're getting rid of some players that are like, you're kind of trimming some fat, you're getting rid of a Brian Winters, maybe you're getting rid of Le'Veon Bell. Not that you necessarily want to, not that you don't want to see Bell on the team, but if you're freeing up a ton more cap space and you can retain someone who's been a critical part of your defense, I think there's reason to want to keep Maye. I think the amount of money allocated to safety might be a concern when there's already people questioning if you should pay Jamal the kind of money he's going to want because he's a safety.
What do you think Greg Williams thinks about, though, if he says
I think he wants him.
Field, I think he wants Maye, and I think he's going to be like, he's on the field every play.
Yeah, well, I think he wants both his safeties.
Bowles loved him.
Yeah,
he's on the field every play.
Yeah. Adams and Maye together is a very formidable tandem at safety, and I really like watching it. I just have a hard time. If Adams wasn't the player he is, like if he was of a Marcus Maye caliber, I would say you keep both of them. I think because Jamal's going to ask for so much money, I think you almost have to move on from Marcus Maye.
upload him in front money, and then Jamal will be good.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Listen, brother, I'm going to get some more callers.
Hey.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Yep. No worries. Good talking to you. Always
Peace.
a pleasure. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Guys, if you've not answered the question today, down in the description down below, there's a link to the Jets Discord. Go down to the poll section, answer this question. What position, I'll give you guys the name now, what position does Marcus Maye play? Head down to the Jets Discord and answer that in the description down below, or in the Discord section down in the poll section below. And you get yourself entered to win a hat, shirt, or mug from the Jets Talk store that I will raffle off in the next 10 minutes or so.
Call from
Leo Butler.
Hey, what's up, brother? Welcome to the cockpit. Hey, what's up, brother? Welcome to the cockpit.
Hey, what's up? No way, I didn't think I would get on.
Oh, yeah, no. Just make sure you have you're listening to the phone and not the computer because it's delayed a little bit. So otherwise I'll be...
Yeah, I got it.
What's on your mind, brother?
Just wondering, what do you think? I wouldn't trade Maye for anything less than a second because that's where we took him, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, part of the value in Marcus Maye is that he was on a cheap rookie deal for that. So there's an argument to be had. Well, okay, he's a proven player. I think he's a top 15 safety in the league, or at least a top 15 free safety in the league. Then maybe you can get someone to say like, oh, well, a second round pick's worth it because you're getting a guaranteed player who's 27 years old. He's pretty young. You're going to be able to sign him for probably a 4-year contract wherever he winds up going. I think a second round pick is probably too high for him to get realistically. I think the injury concerns are valid, at least to some extent. Like, I think a team will use that as an issue. It's the same way that I think Avery Williamson is more valuable than the draft pick he would necessarily bring to us. Like, it might be worth it for the Jets to hold on to both these guys until the trade deadline and then just get whatever you want, knowing that you're going to have to let them walk at the end of the season anyway. But what would you pay Marcus Maye if you were to retain him?
I wouldn't pay him anything higher than $11 million a year.
I feel like that's a lot. I would not go that high for him. I think I would go... I've sort of been saying 7-8 million. If that's where I could land him, I'd be okay with it. If he wants to move on from it, that's fine. I wish him nothing but the best. I think he's a great player. I really like him. I would root for him wherever he wound up going. I think it's too much money allocated to safety, especially if you're going to pay Jamal as much as you did, and you just paid you used your 3rd round pick on a safety. I think that's just too much resources allocated there.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that.
Any more questions?
No, that's all.
All right, brother. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate you watching. Thanks for flying with me. And you have been ejected from the cockpit. Boom! You're out chicken! Gotta love the chicken. So great. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button already. Show the people that don't watch this show that it is fun and you guys want to see it and you want to hang out with me. Ooh, this is one of our buddies.
Call from David Gang Green.
Yo, what's up, David?
Well, if it isn't Mr. Jets Talk 24/7 himself. What's going on, man?
Nah, hanging in there, another day, another dollar. I'm kind of tired. I've been working the last, 4 days now.
Yeah, I saw when the golf courses opened back up in Jersey. I was like, well, Ryan's going back to work.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome, man. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I wasn't, too excited to go back. I was actually having fun making all the videos and stuff, so now I'm like, I'm back to work, which is, all right. It's nice to get out of the house and whatnot, but, whatever. It's got to happen at some point.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait till I start going back to work myself. I mean, hopefully they'll open up the gym sooner rather than later. But I got your little gift, man. I didn't expect it coming, so I got to thank you for that, man. That was really kind of you. Oh, of course, dude. I appreciate all the help and fun we had over the draft, so I'm glad you enjoyed it. Streaming the draft was a lot of fun. It was exhausting, but it was fun, and just you helping me out was probably good enough. So I really got to thank you for that. But anyway, these Marcus, what's that?
No, I'm just laughing. What's on your mind?
No, I saw you talk about the whole Marcus Maye thing. The whole thing's kind of interesting now. Like the reports are coming out saying that it's all fake news.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna say it's fake news the same way they're gonna say like, oh, we only fielded calls from the same way we fielded calls for Jamal Adams. Like, they definitely were interested in seeing what they could get for Jamal. Like, it's not like they weren't. Like, I'm sure there was some interest, sprinkled out there at some point, some slip of a mention, like, oh, I wonder what we could get. Like the Jets saying, oh, Quinnen Williams and Sam Darnold are the only untouchable players, basically left the door open for the Jamal Adams talk. So I don't know. I think the Jets are very much interested in moving Marcus Maye or keeping Marcus Maye. It all depends on the money.
Or it could depend on a couple things. One, how Ashton Davis could look, especially if you could have a scenario where by the trade deadline, you could have a better evaluation of Ashton Davis in regards to his versatility and whether or not Marcus Maye's trade value could go up. But the thing is, though, he has 1 year left on his contract, so any team that would be willing to trade for him would have to give him a new deal. And he's 27 years old.
Yep.
So I would love nothing more than to get a draft pick for Maye. I hear the whole player-for-player thing. I hear the whole thing for Juju. I hear the whole thing for Curtis Samuel. But if Joe Douglas loves to put a premium on the draft, why not try to get a draft pick for Maye?
I'm all for getting a draft pick. I just think if you're getting I think at best a third-round pick, I don't know if you can get I don't know what you could get for Maye. I think the injuries might be a concern. I think maybe I don't want to say age is not. I don't think age is not a concern, but I think a third-round pick with Maye's injury is probably the ceiling for him. Maybe you get a third and a conditional other pick, but I don't know. I think the player, if it's a player that you could get like a Yannick Ngakoue where you could give up a draft pick and Maye, or if you can get a receiver that's like, I like the guaranteed player over the draft pick, but I'm also fine waiting till the trade deadline, seeing how Joe Douglas's draft picks play, and then if it gives us another third-round shot or another fourth-round shot on a player that seems to be contributing, I'm okay with it. I think it's a cheap deal, and you get him for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Jets fans can come to the agreement where the Jets are not going to end up spending a lot of money on two safeties, especially since Jamal Adams wants a lot of money. I think you hit it right on the nail. There's a shot you would have to move on from Marcus Maye. And also, Ashton Davis is younger. He's more versatile. Davis is 23 years old, and you could put him on various parts of the field. You could put him at the line, and you could put him back there. So I like the versatility from Davis. I know we talked about it on the panel. When we first drafted him, we were kind of questioning the pick, and then it kind of raised a lot of curiosity on what could happen with Maye. Some could have been on the perception of, what could happen with Jamal, but I think this is really going to impact Maye more than it could impact Jamal. But it all depends on how Maye does in regards to possibility of his trade value. I think it all involves how Ashton Davis could play. I think he's a starting caliber safety, and I'm excited to see what Davis could even do.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an exciting defense to watch. And it's the same sort of feeling that I had with Williamson and Mosley last year. Like, I wanted to see both of them on the field. So if you could see if you could see Maye and you could see Adams and you could see Davis on the field, that's really exciting for me. And I really hope we get to see it. I don't think we'll trade Maye until close to the deadline, because I think Maye can pretty much jump onto almost any team and, like, impact them immediately. Like, if a playoff team wants Maye and they want to make the move for him, then that also gives you the time to let Ashton Davis kind of learn a little bit, not just throw him right into the fire.
Well, yeah, that's a great point that you brought up, and I'm honestly I'm excited to see Davis play, but I think it could come down to how Greg Williams can scheme with these guys. I mean, do you see him running a 3-safety outlook with these guys? Do you see him maybe moving Ashton Davis to corner with how versatile he is? I think Greg Williams kind of gave himself quite a bit of options with the safety outlook. I think it could also depend on how the corners work, especially since we also got Quincy Wilson. Maybe Williams might actually factor him in the mix too, because he was a former second-round pick, and I was a huge fan of Quincy Wilson, and we had talked about that one too.
Yeah, I think this defense is going to be interesting. I think edge rusher is the one piece that I really think's missing. I do think we need a corner, but I think we have enough competition at corner right now that I'm okay with it. I like Huff, I like Zuniga, but I like the idea of adding more of a proven pass rusher. So a Curry, a Griffin, Curry and Griffin would probably be my top choice, because you're not trading away a ton of stuff. But if you can get Ngakwe or whatever, however you pronounce his name, I would be interested in it. He's the one player that I would be okay paying a lot of money for.
Who, Yannick?
Yeah. I think he's good. I think he's real good. 25 years old. Like you give him a 4-year contract, he's going to play that entire thing out.
Yeah, I mean, he's 25 years old. He's a pass rusher still in his prime, but I think he could be a guy who you could get if you're one player away, because a lot of the rookies that the Jets drafted, like, everybody can praise how the Jets drafted, and trust me, I love the way Joe Douglas utilized all his draft assets, addressing our biggest needs and getting more draft picks in the process. But you also have to see how these rookies produce on the field. Denzel Mims, we're all high on him right now. I definitely love the pick myself, but we got to see how he can maintain in Adam Gase's offense. Same with guys like Michael Perrine, Jabari Zuniga too. Maybe he pans out. So it now comes down to these rookies to see how we can actually pan out. And if the Jets do go that 7-9 in a much better fashion with that tough schedule, and they're going in the right direction, then you could possibly maybe look at it somebody like a Yannick Ngakoue, when we are possibly maybe a couple players away, when we are like a legitimate elite Juju Smith-Schuster or Yannick Ngakoue away from competing, because the Jets right now have a lot to prove with their draft class and their other pickups that they got.
Yeah, I think so. Listen, David, I got to go. I'm getting towards the end of the show. I got to give out a shirt, hat, or mug. Thank you so much for calling in, brother, and I will talk to you in our group chat.
Awesome. I mean, it's the least I could do for everything you've done for me. So I definitely thank you once again for everything you've done for me, for my channel. And you're the best, dude. You're the true #1 Jet video maker on YouTube, my man. You deserve it all. You deserve all what you got. So keep up the good work.
Thanks, brother. Thank you so much. Guys, don't forget to tune in to Gangrene David. Shoot him a sub. He's a part of our Talking Jets panel. You can check that out on most Tuesdays. I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break from that, I think. For a little bit, we'll see. I'm getting back to work, so I'm trying to kind of get back into my rhythm. I might do, it looks like the schedule reveal is Thursday, so maybe I'll do something on Thursday, maybe a live stream for that, and we'll talk about that. And then maybe I won't do phone calls. I'll just kind of talk to the chat. It'll be something different if we go that route. I got to see where I'm at and what we're kind of doing here, but that's in the works maybe. We'll see. All right, guys. So now it is time for our question of the day and answering all that stuff. What was the position of Marcus Maye? What position does he play? That was the question we were going for. And let's see, the poll section. Oh, yeah, we got a bunch of people. Okay, so give me 3 numbers 0 to 10. Got a 3? William Smart. William knew it was coming. He was just like, I'm just throwing a 3 up there. I know he's going to ask. We got another 3 and we got a 5. All right, so we got, what is that, 11? Ooh, now say up, down, or middle. Whoever gets the third one, up, down, or middle, will be, let's see. Middle, who's the next one? Okay, FM says middle, 11 and middle, and I'm going to go every other, so I'm just kind of jabbing one in the middle here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I go back up. Ooh, okay. So the winner of the hat, shirt, or mug, obviously the position for Marcus Maye is, oh wow, middle, up, down, middle, up, down. It sounds like we're doing a cheat code, right, for a video game, old school. The winner, obviously, the answer was free safety or safety. Either one of those would be acceptable. And the winner of the hat, shirt, or mug from the Jets Talk store is going to be Mims, Darnold, and then Revis Island in parentheses. So head over, hit me up on the Jets Discord. Name is blah 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 on there. Vote or send me a message so I can get your information and I can get you your hat, shirt, or mug from the Jets Talk store. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It's been a lot of fun. I am genuinely tired. I'm exhausted. I've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning, and I got to go right back at it tomorrow. I hope you guys have enjoyed the new emojis and everything for the memberships. That was a lot of fun. I got to figure out. I'm going to do a member vote on what we want to see next in the emojis, because there were some pretty good ones in there. Butt fumble has got to be up there, I would think. I don't know how to make butt fumble, though, but we'll think of something. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Go Jets! My name's Ryan. I was your pilot tonight. This is Jets Talk, signing off. Garth Cooks, thank you so much for joining. Become an economy passenger of the Jets Talk 24/7 channel. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back here next week. I love yo faces. Stay tuned. We might have something coming out Thursday for the schedule reveal. Boom! Thanks for flying with me.